Every year in the NFL, it's a new team. As far as goals go, we have one. Putting a f***ing ring on our finger.
Welcome to the Buccaneers Observer Podcast. This is Ralph Phillips.
I'm Molly Bay.
Today is, oh my gosh, here we go. I got to look at the date again. This has been a weird one. March 16th, 2021. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Today is the start of free agency.
No, it's tomorrow. I just realized. I thought it was today at 4 o'clock. I thought
it was today at 4.
No, it's the 17th at 4. That's tomorrow. I kept thinking the 17th was a Tuesday. It's not.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's all right. We've had this podcast ready to go for, what you finished it Saturday, all the notes and stuff for it. And unfortunately, Ralph got a little bit of a food poisoning bug. I missed all the good news. I'm laying in bed, just totally miserable. And Molly's constantly texting me, we signed so-and-so, we signed so-and-so. And I'm like, yay.
I want to die.
I know. The good thing about it is I've lost almost 5 pounds.
There you go. Just in time for bikini season.
I haven't eaten anything since Sunday night at 9 o'clock. It's like the best diet in the world. I don't recommend it, though. But, hey, if you want to lose weight, man, eat some bad meat.
There we go.
This is funny because this exact thing, same thing happened to me and Molly both. What was it, 8 years ago?
8 years ago.
2013. Yeah. To the day. She texted me an image of her where what you said you were.
It was on Facebook, yeah. One of my memories about how I was dying. Yeah.
And she texted that to me. I was like, wow, what are the chances?
This time we didn't both get it, though. Just you.
No, well, last time.
I shared.
Yeah. I did not realize, I did not know this. This is one of the things about food poisoning, that it's contagious. And so, Molly's all sick. She's laid up in bed and everything. And my dummy's trying to make her feel better. So I'm like kissing all on her and everything. Next thing I know, I'm walking down the steps and I just collapsed.
Ready to die.
Yeah, oh, man, it was horrible. That was 8 years ago. And then
it was 8 years
This one was a mild version of it. Nowhere near as bad as that one. And that only lasted for 24 hours. Maybe a little bit longer. But anyhow, we're back at it. And
Ralph's struggling through. He's probably going to go back to bed after this. He should.
I'd slept as much as I could. It was crazy. Anyhow, we got a lot of stuff to cover here.
Ooh.
Molly's got Know Your Enemy notes for the free agency with the New Orleans Saints.
And it's a little bit out of date, but I think the needs are going to be pretty much the same. So we will go over that. And then, first we're going to talk about what the Bucs have been doing since the last time we had a podcast. We had a lot of big news.
A lot of big news. A lot of good news.
Yes.
Okay, before we get to that, fact checks and follow-ups. We have none. Because we're perfect. We're awesome. No, because we didn't do them. So there you go. If you found any errors in our last podcast, let us know. And we'll ignore them. All right, Molly. What you got for us?
All right, let's take it away. Let's talk about the big stuff first. Yeah. The Tom Brady extension. 1 year. It was a $25 million contract extension, but Mike Greenberg is doing his magic and ended up he's using these voidable years, which I don't quite understand. Like, from what I gathered, they're like fake years that they add on to the end of the contract where it's like they're not really under a contract, but it spreads the cap hit out that far. So the Buccaneers are really exploiting that, which, they generally don't like to mortgage the future for the present. So I'm wondering, how this is. I guess we're going to find out how it shakes out in a couple years.
Yeah. Well, it seems to be this is a league-wide thing. It's not just us. And apparently, anybody that tells you they know salary cap stuff don't. There's a handful of people, and they're all salary cap guys working for the NFL. But apparently this year, the CBA adjusted contract stuff so that teams can do this. And also they adjusted the usually there's like a 25% amount or something where you can go under. It's all a mess, but because of COVID and all this, they've adjusted this year. So all the teams are taking advantage of it.
Cool. Okay, so I do have, all right, on the Brady contract, he is guaranteed to be paid $50 million, essentially agreed to be paid $50 million over the next 2 years. He's due $41 million in 2021, and then the remaining $8.9 million will be paid in 2022. So he's getting the money in his pocket in 2021, but it's going to be spread out over the next 4 years, including 3 years that become voidable. So his salary cap number for 2021 is only $9 million. It's a $19.3 million savings. Insane.
But Greenberg is a genius.
I know. And he's done this with everybody.
I know. I can't believe it. The guy, the salary cap is a lot lower than it was last year, and we're still retaining all these guys. It's incredible.
And guys who are like top of the market, right. Cream of the crop. We are keeping them here. Shaq Barrett yesterday got his deal, which I could not believe.
I know. And I was so sick. I was laying in bed and you texted me. And I wanted to get up and jump and everything, but this is the most I could. I lifted my arm up in bed, and I was like fist pumping myself. I was like, yes.
I'm trying to look. What is his? Okay, it was a 4 years, $68 million deal. I'm trying to find what his cap hit is, but he's not on Spot Rack yet, so.
Yeah,
they haven't updated.
It came out to be 17 a year or something like that, 17 million, a little over 17 and a half, something like that. I was amazed. I was like, wow, I thought for sure he was going to get 20 million a year.
Yeah, and let me see if I can pull up my notes, because I know that somebody tweeted about this, about what his cap hit actually was. So, I mean, it's just incredible to me that we got him for so cheap, really.
Relatively, yes.
Relatively cheap. Mm-hmm. I mean, considering he was the premier pass rusher.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's so many teams that would, there's a lot of teams that got a boatload of cap space, and they would have loved to have him. Mm-hmm. I think it's a testament to this team.
Absolutely.
That guys will stay here, take less money to stay here. And also, it is Florida. They get a little bit of a discount on income tax. But, Jacksonville's like $72 million under the cap.
Don't nobody want to play there?
Yeah, that's true. Indianapolis, they're $70 million under the cap. Or they were pre-Wentz. But, they could definitely use, all the Jets. God, these guys would have paid him $20-25 million. I would
Absolutely.
Think, but, man,
they totally would have overpaid.
He wanted to stay here, apparently.
Yeah. And apparently they're going house shopping in Tampa.
Awesome. He's finally going to buy a house.
Yeah. Yeah. So Greg Allman tweeted that Shaq Barrett's contract has a $1.25 million base salary for 2021 and an $18.75 million signing bonus that's prorated over 5 years. So it's a, excuse me, it's a 4-year deal with a voidable 5th year. So that
I just saw your finger.
Oh.
Yeah, Molly sliced her finger.
My sad finger. Sunday was not. It was a great day, but it was not a good day for Ralph and Molly, medical wise.
Yeah, we thought she was going to have to get stitches.
It was my Buccaneers knives, which I am not used to.
They're extremely
having sharp knives.
Yeah,
and this is why. This is why I don't have sharp knives. I'm okay though. I'm gonna live, I think.
Yeah, so I had to one up you.
I know.
You hurt yourself.
Yeah.
I did first aid, and then I was like, okay, it's my turn.
I couldn't even go to the emergency room if I needed to, because what am I going to do with the kid? Yeah. Leave her with you. She would take care of you, though.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Shaq Barrett we got for a freaking steal. Did we talk about Levante David last time?
Yes, we did. He was the first one. That one just shocked the mess out of me. I was fully prepared to not have Levante David on this team.
I know.
You got to hand it to Bruce Arians and Jason Licht and Greenberg. They said after the Super Bowl, we're keeping everybody. And we both were like, they're drunk talking.
Yeah.
But I'll be damned. They
Lord.
did it.
I know.
They did it.
I know.
And I said this, watching the Super Bowl, all 22, I started getting teary-eyed watching it. I know it sounds a little soft, but because I'm watching this and it's the best football team I've ever seen. Going through the playoffs, I was seeing these guys. I'm seeing them play the Green Bay Packers, the New Orleans Saints, and they're making these other teams look bad. And I'm writing notes, and I'm like, oh, the Green Bay Packers are not playing their best game, and the New Orleans Saints aren't playing their best game, and all that good stuff. And then I'm writing that down during the Kansas City game, and I'm like, okay, now, once is understandable. Twice, you got to start thinking about it. 3 times, no, it's not the other team. You're making them look this bad. And I realized this is the best football team I have ever seen. And I've been watching football for almost 50 years. No, 40, 45 years. 45. Yeah, and, there was the Chicago Bears in 86? They were totally dominant. But I would say, in my defense on that one, there wasn't any competition. They didn't have, they didn't go up against, the Green Bay Packers with Aaron Rodgers or, the Drew Brees with the Saints and then Patrick Mahomes we went through a gauntlet and dominated. And we're bringing it back. And we didn't even start clicking until later in the season.
I know.
How crazy is that?
Week 13, right? It was late.
Right. And then even then there were certain, like I said with Levante David, there was something going on with him. So we had a breakdown in linebackers. And then, we were missing some of our big guys. Carlton Davis was out for 2 weeks there at the end. Devin White was out, for the first 2 games of the playoffs, right?
Yeah. Shaq we missed for week 6 or 17.
Yeah. And Vita Vea was out over half the season. Mm-hmm. So we're getting all those guys back.
I know.
We're getting all those guys back, and we were dominating then. Now we're going to have a whole off season to get, man. It's dumb. It is really dumb at how good we are and how nobody's even close.
What do you think is going on with Sue?
Man, I don't know. I hope we get him.
I know. Well, he's such a mercenary and everyone knows that, but I kind of thought it would be more of a priority for him to resign. I don't know. I get the impression, and this is based off nothing but the fact that he hasn't re-signed with us. Mm-hmm. I just get the impression that he's shopping around maybe
he's going to test the free market. And see
but if you recall, it took him a really long time last season to re-sign with us. I think it was well into May before we re-signed him. So, maybe it's just he just goes at a slower pace.
Yeah, he does. He's his own agent, right? He fired his agent last year.
Last year he negotiated himself and signed with the Bucs as his own agent.
Well, him and Suck Up are the ones left that we've had on our priority list. And the Suck Up I'm not too worried about. I'm pretty sure we'll be able to squeeze him in.
Yeah, he'll be easy. Even if we had to pay him $2 million, not a big deal. Mm-hmm. So the Spot Rack has our current cap space at $8.5 million, but it's not showing Shaq Barrett's contract. So that's probably going to take up I can't remember what his cap hit was this year, but it'll probably take that up. I'm not sure when they even have to have their cap space down below a certain amount. Mm-hmm. I think they get a little bit of time. There's a deadline, but I don't think it's anytime soon. So we'll have time to restructure. And this is what's crazy. And this is what we're going to have to watch in the next few years is the dead cap is $827,000 this year. But
that's nothing.
That is nothing. Like our NFC South rivals, the Carolina Panthers, they have $22.9 million this year. New Orleans Saints have $22.6 million this year. Atlanta, hold on, it's loading, has $13.9 million. So in the millions, double-digit millions is pretty common. So for us to have 827,000, that's just outrageous this year. We'll probably not be that next year, but we'll see. We also signed Gronk, or we're getting Gronk back today. I cannot wait. This one was awesome. Let me see what it was. It's an $8 million contract. But the cap hit is like spread out. I think we're getting hit. I think the cap, I think the 8 million, or I don't know. It's spread out over 4 years. So we're using the voidable years for him too. So I think the cap hit in the next few years, it's like $1 million a year. It's just outrageous that you could even get the,
Oh, I know. And we have won the off season for like 5 years in a row.
I know. Free agency.
Yeah. And we're doing it again. I don't know, man. It's incredible. Hey, we deserve it. We've had a long drought, and now, we're looking at, just having the dominant football team for another year at least, probably 2.
Are you okay with it if it's impacts us salary cap wise in the next few years? Like what happens after?
Yeah.
What happens after all these guys leave and we're still paying them?
That's fine.
And we can't afford to bring anybody. You don't care.
I don't care. Yeah, then we get a bunch of rookies.
I think a smart play in that case is to start drafting guys, backup guys and developing talent. And then you have them on their rookie contracts in the years where you're paying all these veterans. And, you don't have to worry about a drop off in talent so much when you've got guys that you've been developing and they're on their rookie contracts. So I think that would be a smart move. We are in a unique position, which we haven't seen in quite a few years with the Buccaneers, where we are drafting for best available player, not for need.
Yes.
So that's going to be an exciting thing. And I really do hope that they focus on shoring up our depth, and especially with these guys who, probably aren't going to be here in the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Leonard Fournette is apparently he has an offer from Tampa, but he's negotiating with the Seahawks too. So I don't know about that one. I don't expect Lenny back. No. I think his market value is too high. I think he's going to go somewhere and get paid. The Seahawks are losing Chris Carson to free agency. Apparently they don't want to bring him back. So we will see what happens. But I think that Lenny should go wherever he needs to go to get paid. And
well,
we'll be fine.
We've talked about this, but Bruce Arians does not like to pay running backs big money. I mean, he's not shy about it.
Yeah.
And Fournette's looking at what, 6-8 million?
Yeah,
like
8 million. Yeah. He's like one of the highest rated running backs.
Arians is not going to pay him that much.
Well, apparently we are in talks with James White from New England. So that's Tom Brady's guy. We could be bringing another Patriot in here. How funny would that be? Which I don't really care. The running back situation with the Buccaneers, I don't really care. I'm happy with Rojo. I wasn't last offseason, this offseason. I'm like, he'll do the job, and whoever they bring in behind him will do it too. So,
it's so funny because for years, the Patriots leached off of us. They were getting all of our players and all that good stuff, and now it's the exact opposite. We're vulturing them.
I know. They're apparently really active in free agency. I haven't been following it too closely, but I keep seeing them pop up on Twitter.
They got a crap ton of money. They got like $60 million. Yeah.
All right. Do you think?
They re-signed Cam Newton
for,
what was it, $16 million, $16.5 million. So, to me, they're not making good decisions.
I'm with you. All right. You want to start talking about the rest of the NFC South?
Did we cover all the free agents we signed? So we got Chris Godwin. We re-signed him. Mm-hmm. Shaquille Barrett. We re-signed him. Levante David. We re-signed him.
Yeah.
Gronkowski. We re-signed him. Who else?
Those are the only 3 I've got on Spot Rack who are
okay. So
popping up.
The other 2 we're concerned with is Ndamukong Suh and Suck Up.
Yeah.
Now, I want to throw Nacho in there. I'd like to see Nacho come back.
Yeah.
It's not a make or break deal, but apparently he's really good in the locker room, and it's just when you have a team like this, you just want to keep them all together.
I agree. Oh, hey, I found Shaq's cap number. It's $5.6 million for 2021.
That ain't nothing.
I know, isn't that insane?
Lord.
I know. Okay, listen to the cap hit for all these guys. Chris Godwin, it's $15.9 million. Tom Brady, $9 million. That's just outrageous. I just can't even. What? And I just saw Matt Ryan, his cap hit was like $40 million this year. They just restructured him and reduced his cap hit this year by $14 million. So they did save a little bit of money there. But then his cap hit next year is $42 million. So his cap hit went up. I mean,
well, it was supposed to be $41 million this year, right?
Yeah. So they just pushed it off to next year. Shaq Barrett is $5.6 million and Levante is $3.5 million. And then Gronk, I think, is around 1 or 2, maybe $3 million. His cap hit. It's just ridiculous. How are they even doing all this?
The salary cap is a myth.
I know. Yeah, there's always all these tricks that you can exploit, and the good front offices exploit them.
Yeah. And we have the
Buccaneers.
best. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, hey, we did agree to terms with Kevin Minter.
Oh,
so
good.
he'll be back. I don't have details on that one. Greg Almond was reporting that.
Good deal.
So
Damn, so we haven't lost anybody yet.
I
but then
know.
again, free agency doesn't start till tomorrow. So.
Yeah, officially it's tomorrow, but everyone's negotiating. So, okay. I found Gronk's cap hit. His cap hit this year is $4.8 million.
Good Lord.
So it's $4 million in base salary, $4 million bonus prorated for cap over 5 seasons. And that's Greg Almond.
Man.
Thanks, Greg.
We're killing it.
I know. All right. Let's talk about New Orleans, who's not killing it. You suck, New Orleans.
Drew Brees retired.
Oh, yes. That was another thing you missed while you were dying.
I know. Well, that was another one where I was like, yeah.
Yes. Officially announced he is retiring. So that was one of the big questions in this preview. Like, what are they going to do at quarterback?
Jameis Winston.
Now we still don't know.
I'm hoping it's Jameis Winston.
I know. Well, so they did agree to terms with him. It's a 1-year, $5.5 million contract.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Taysom Hill, they restructured him. It's a Spot Rack is reporting it's a 1-year, $12.159 million contract. So it seems to me like there's going to be a quarterback competition in New Orleans, and I ain't scared of either one of these fools.
I'm loving it. Taysom Hill, didn't he sign like a 4-year, $120 million contract Saturday? But it was weird. It was like all the years were voided or something.
I know. Yeah, I think so. Let me see. I'm pulling it up right here. But their offense is just a mess. And
I like
they have, okay, so their offensive line is fine. They don't have any, they do have Nick Easton, their guard. They released him. He was a starter, but they were doing weird things last year with their offensive line, like rotating guys. And they had drafted a guy who, I think Ruiz, who plays center and guard, and they were kind of rotating all of them. So they did release their guard, Nick Easton, and cleared like almost just short of $6 million in cap space, but I don't think that was a big big deal as far as that goes. The rest of the NFC South, their offensive lines are a mess. But New Orleans, that's the one place where they're fine on offense.
Hold on, we got breaking news. Jason Pierre-Paul says on Snapchat that he is signing an extension in Tampa Bay. Tells fans he will be back for another 2 years.
Yes!
So that means we're clearing up some cap room for somebody else.
Boy!
Yeah.
Yes, I got like chills just now. Like, hearing that. Like, yes!
I did too, but I think it's because I was sick.
Well, yeah, probably. That is some awesome news. So, all right, let's see. Spot Rack says Taysom signed a 1-year, $12 million contract with the Saints, including a $9.6 million signing bonus, $12 million guaranteed, and an average annual salary of $12 million. He will earn a base salary of $1 million in 2021 and a signing bonus of $9.6 million, roster bonus of $1.4 million, carrying a cap hit of $8.4 million, and dead cap value of $16 million. Whew. So, yeah, they're spreading out the cap hit through 2025. So that is his signing bonus. I can never understand these things.
Nobody does.
It's ridiculous.
And it doesn't really matter because next year it'll be, they'll readjust the contracts and all that good stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I mean, that'll be one thing to watch this offseason, and that's going to be a big deal because Drew Brees has been a staple of that team for a decade. You and I got together in 2009, and I think that was our first Super Bowl together. It was Drew Brees and Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
And it's funny. Our first Super Bowl. And so it's going to be weird. And, they have they mortgaged, their future. They have been for quite a few years. I mean, $22 million they've got in dead cap space. And they have guys who are restructuring kind of like we did to clear up some room. Like Cam Jordan, he restructured. Michael Thomas restructured. Drew Brees reduced his salary from $25 million to $1 million. Their kicker. So, they're trying to do some work, but I mean, they've been paying for guys for years, and here we go.
Yeah,
it's all falling apart.
The Saints have been pushing this down the road for quite a few years. So hopefully this will be a way to bite them in the butt. Yeah.
And I mean, the issue is that they don't have enough cap space to replace these guys that they're losing. So their wide receiver core is a mess. Like, they released Emmanuel Sanders for cap space. That saved them $6.5 million. Benny Fowler is a free agent this year. He spent 2020 on IR. And then they've got Lil Jordan Humphrey. He's an exclusive rights free agent. But, after Michael Thomas, there's a huge drop off in talent for the Saints. So they don't even have any room to go get somebody. And last season, Emmanuel Sanders, it seemed like maybe he was going to be the number 2 guy who could kind of, play in tandem with Michael Thomas. And it didn't work out that way. Even, Michael Thomas was injured, and then Emmanuel Sanders, I think he had issues with injuries too. And then also, I mean, he just didn't step in the way they thought that he would. Another issue on their offense is their tight end position. They have 4 of their tight ends are free agents, and they actually have already released. Oh, they've released all of them. So
damn,
I know. Josh Hill, they released him. That cleared up $2.5 million of cap space. Jared Cook, they released him, but he was set to become a free agent anyway. And, he was their third most targeted receiver in 2020. He had 60 targets.
60?
60.
That's it?
Yeah. He led the team in receiving touchdowns with 7. So at this point, Adam Troutman is the next man up on the roster. Have
Never
you ever
heard of
heard?
him.
I know exactly. So
Troutman?
yeah, Troutman. Or Troutman, AU. And so their offense, they got some big questions at wide receiver and tight end. And you kind of wonder, you know, for so long, New Orleans has been a high-flying offense. And even, you know, their running back core, look at Alvin Kamara. He's like one of the number 1 receiving running backs. So it's like they've been tailored to pass the ball.
Yeah.
And their passing game won with a question at quarterback. Not that Drew Brees, had the arm going for, but he wasn't a running quarterback either. But now they've got a hole at quarterback, and then their wide receiver core is weak and their tight end core is weak. So you kind of wonder, like, are they going to switch their approach? That might be the smart thing to do when you have a back like Alvin Kamara
And Taysom Hill. Yeah.
and Taysom Hill. So that might be something to watch going forward in the offseason.
It's going to be so fun watching them just get beat up all year. That's what's going to be the fun part.
I know.
The breaking news again. This is on the breaking news earlier. The JPP Snapchat video was from a year ago.
Ah, dang it.
So he's
Ralph.
Well, it wasn't me. It's popping up. Now we got people saying that he's talking about the 2-year deal. He's now halfway through. No new deal for him with the Bucs.
Oh.
Okay.
Dang.
So we still
Somebody was saving up that video and they're like, hey, I'm going to mess with people. Yeah, jerks.
That's Tampa media for you. It was official Tampa media stuff.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Who was it?
Pewter Report. And then Greg Allman had to correct them.
Pewter Report.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Come on. All right. Oops. I just hit something.
Yeah, it's going to be so much fun. It was fun watching the Carolina Panthers stink it up this year. It's really going to be fun watching the Saints be horrible for the next few years.
I know.
I'm just going to enjoy the mess out of it. I'm going to enjoy the mess out of the Panthers stinking it up this year again, too.
Okay, let's talk. The Saints did sign a right tackle, James Hurst, to a 3-year, $3 million contract. So they are shoring up their offensive line, I guess, a little bit. Let's see. I don't know where he played before. He's got a purple jersey on, so that makes me think that he
Baltimore.
Yes, he played with Baltimore.
They're shoring up against Shaq is what they're doing.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh, okay. He played with Baltimore in 2020, and then he was released by Baltimore in March of 2020 and signed a $1 million contract last offseason with New Orleans. So it looks like he's a guy they've already had, James Hurst, but it looks like a backup. So they're bringing him back. They liked him, apparently. Okay, let's talk about their defense, because their defense is a freaking mess.
Yay.
I know. It's like worse. I don't know if it's worse than their offense. I mean, that's pretty bad when you don't have you lose an elite quarterback like that. They have been attempting for the last few years to build a linebacker core to no avail. And so this year in free agency, they released Quan Alexander, who they had hoped was going to shore that position up. And of course, he could not stay healthy. That is a huge shock to me. So they officially released him. It cleared $13.2 million in cap space.
Good Lord. $13.2 million?
Yes.
They were paying him that much?
Yes.
What is up with these teams, man? Didn't the 49ers do the same thing? They just gave him a big chunk of money?
Yeah, well, I think that New Orleans had traded with San Francisco and got his contract.
Oh, okay.
Didn't they trade for him?
Yeah.
I know. The Saints are also losing Alex Anzalone. Anzalone? I don't know how to say it. Well, he's a free agent, and so they probably won't be able to bring him back. They did draft a linebacker, Zach Bond, but he didn't see the field much in 2020. So this is a weak position for them. Rebuild. Their defensive line is not much better. Sheldon Rankins and Trey Hendrickson are free agents.
Wow.
I know. Hendrickson had as many sacks last season. He had 13.5 as every other defensive end on the roster put together.
Dang.
Yeah. They had 14. He alone had 13.5.
Wow.
And I want to say Trey Hendrickson got signed by somebody. Yes. The Bengals. He's going to the Bengals.
Wow.
Yeah. So the Saints lost him. They do have Cam Jordan, but the other side of the line is questionable. Malcolm Brown they had to release because of his contract. Marcus Davenport is on the last year of his rookie deal. So their defensive line might need some help. So yeah, it's every position. And next, I'm going to talk to their cornerbacks. 4 of them are free agents.
Wow.
They had to release Janoris Jenkins, which I love this because he's the one who got the pick 6 on Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, Schadenfreude in your face.
The Brady curse.
I know. So PJ Williams and Ken Crawley are free agents. And then Marshawn Lattimore is rumored to be getting an extension. But otherwise, they are very thin at corner. They had to release... Okay, let me see. Oh, they franchise tagged their free safety Marcus Williams, so that's $10 million. Free safety Malcolm Jenkins converted $5 million of his salary into bonus, so he cleared a little bit of cap space. But yeah, their secondary is a mess. Their linebacker core is a mess. And their defensive line is a mess. So, and then
couldn't happen to a better team.
I know. They released their punter, Thomas Morstead, clearing $2.5 million of cap space.
Wow.
So
they're just getting rid of everybody.
What else are they supposed to do? Hold on. Let me pull up their cap tracker. They are currently $8.5 million over the cap.
Whoa. They still got some cutting to do.
They have cutting to do. You are correct, sir. Gosh, I can't. Where are they? Okay. Let's go over. You got anything to add to that?
No.
Okay. I cannot find. I'm looking in the list of teams and I'm like, where are they? I can't find them at all. Oh, there they are. Yeah, they're 30. Oh, they're 9.7 million over the cap. I stand corrected. That's for all, not the top 51. The top 51, they're 6 million over. So they still got some cutting to do, and they have some free agents they're going to lose. Oh, did we talk about Jameis Winston? What do you think is going to happen there?
I have no idea.
I guess that's going to be a training camp battle. And maybe preseason, depending.
Yeah. Well, that Taysom Hill, he's got a lot of skills, but when he took over last year for a few games, he didn't do a whole lot with it.
He didn't. And that's kind of the concern with the fan base in New Orleans, And
then, they got rid of... Oh, no, that was Atlanta. I was thinking of Dirk Cutter. I don't know. Winston's got his decision-making issues. I don't know if he's worked on that.
No, Ralph, that is coached. And I saw a clip of him with a football helmet on and a bat. And I'm like, what are you doing? It's his, his coach, his trainer that he's had since high school.
Remember that one a couple years ago where they were like throwing things at his head?
Oh
while
my
he
gosh.
It was a big
Why?
punching bag or something.
Like, he trains to play the way that he does.
Right.
Like, he does this on purpose. It's
right.
not it's not just he's got bad decision. Like, he's training bad decision making. So, no, there's no fixing that. You just can't.
Apparently, the Andy Dalton is signing with the Chicago Bears. Oh,
good for him. Okay. So, I guess with the Cowboys re-signing Dak to that ridiculous contract, they can't afford Andy, or they don't need him, or don't think they'll need him. All right. Let's move on to the Panthers. Panthers are in year 2 of a rebuild. So sad.
Year 2 of a 20-year rebuild. Hopefully.
Okay, so they have $31 million in available cap space. They do have $22.9 million in dead cap. Apparently, they were hot after what quarterback was just up for free agency?
Wentz?
No. Hold on, I have it. I got it in my notes. Oh, okay. Matt Stafford. That's who it was. They wanted Matt Stafford. They had offered the 8th pick, so their first overall pick, and a 5th rounder, and Teddy Bridgewater for Matt Stafford.
Holy crap.
To Detroit. So
where did Stafford go?
The Rams. Remember
right.
Rams
yeah,
and Jared Goff?
Mm-hmm.
So they clearly are not thrilled with Teddy Bridgewater. Clearly. And apparently Deshaun Watson, they like him. So if the Texans ever open up to trading him, perhaps Carolina could be a landing spot, which I thought they learned their lesson on those running quarterbacks, but apparently not. Their number two of their backup receivers, Curtis Samuel and Pharaoh Cooper, are up for free agency. Curtis Samuel, his market value is about $12 million. He plays behind DJ Moore, and then Pharaoh Cooper is number 2 behind Robbie Anderson, and he's also their returner. But on offense, he's only had 5 catches for 73 yards. So their depth at that position is probably going to go. The biggest story, in my opinion, is their offensive line is just an absolute mess. They have tackle Matt Caskey. He's up for free agency. Left tackle Russell Okung. He's their starter. He's up for free agency. Guard John Miller is up for free agency. He was a starter. Michael Schofield, he's a guard as well. He's a starter, and he is up for free agency. Guard Chris Reed, not a starter, is up for free agency. And center Tyler Larson, up for free agency. So they only have their center, Matt Paradis. He is under contract, and I think they've got one other guy that's under contract, but they have 3 offensive linemen that they're having to replace. And they're kind of in a spot with their left tackle, Okung, that we were in with Donovan Smith. It's like they're not exactly thrilled at the idea of re-signing him, but they don't really have a whole lot of other options.
Right. Yeah. Those guys don't grow on trees.
Exactly. So that is going to be an issue. It might be something they target in the draft. It might be, but I mean, they do have money, so they should probably look into it. I don't know. At tight end, they have Ian Thomas as their number 1. He's not up for free agency, but he hasn't exactly lived up to his potential, so that may be a position that they target for upgrade. At corner, they've got a few guys. They have 3 guys up for free agency, and one of them they had released. Another, Rasul Douglas. He was a starter, but the publications in Carolina, they were kind of mixed on their reviews of him last year. Some of them felt like he fell off towards the end of the year, so they should upgrade. Some of them felt, well, he did all right, so they should re-sign him. So apparently he was one of Matt Rule's favorites, so he's probably going to return. He did give up 6 touchdowns and allowed a passer rating of 108.5. So, yeah. I know. And then they've got Quan Alexander, who was a cornerback and was a pleasant surprise in the secondary. So he's up for free agency too. He might get re-signed, I think. At safety, they had released Trey Boston. So they need a starting safety. They could use Jeremy Chin there, who kind of plays like a money backer role, like Dan Buchanan, kind of safety, kind of linebacker. But they do need some depth there. And at linebacker, they're going to have a hole with Tahir Whitehead. He is a free agent, and apparently he is just not good. He lost his starting job during the season, and then he turned out to be the worst free agent signing they had last year. So he was bad in coverage and then bad tackling. He missed 12.1% of his attempts, and he was benched. So he probably won't come back. Their kicker, Joey Sly, was extended another year, and then their punter, they released their punter, who signed with Miami. A big story that they had was that they released Kawan Short on their defensive line. He was the last remnant of that unit with Gerald McCoy.
Mm-hmm.
And so they cleared $9.8 million in cap space there. They have Adarius Taylor. He's one of their linebackers. He's up for free agency. He was a good rotational guy, so he might get re-signed. We will see. The fan sites are saying that they need a pass rusher, which I just laugh at every time I hear that. Every team says that they need a pass rusher. Yeah. Think about how many years Bucs fans screamed for a pass rusher.
Mm-hmm.
With the Bucs.
We went 15 years or so without having a double-digit sacker.
I know. So it makes me laugh when I see people go, oh, we need a pass rusher. It just goes to show how hard it is to find one, and a good one.
Yeah, good quarterback. Yeah.
We have so many.
Good pass rushers.
I know.
Yeah.
And running back. Oh, at offensive line, they had franchise tagged their right tackle, Taylor Moton. So they have their center under contract and their right tackle. And then the rest of the line is a big question mark. Ugh. So that'll be fun for...
God, I'm so glad we don't have all these issues.
I know. They're just a mess. They did sign a tackle. Cameron Irving signed a 2-year, $10 million contract. That was just yesterday. They signed a guard too. See, I should have looked. I'm looking at the transactions now. They signed a guard, Pat F-Line, signed a 3-year, $13.5 million deal. So, looks like they are targeting the line in free agency. Okay, let's talk about Atlanta.
I like that. What's going on with Atlanta? Are they doing worse than...
I don't know. They're just a mess. And at least Carolina, they have a lot of needs, but they've got some cap space, and it's the second year of their coaching staff. Atlanta is in a different situation because they have a lot of needs. Their offensive line is a mess, but they also have a new coach. So it's like they are in rebuild mode, and they don't have a lot of money. So they currently have available $5.75 million in cap space. They just converted. Oh, it was they converted $21 million of Matt Ryan's salary into a bonus, which cleared $14 million in cap space with Atlanta. But otherwise, they're a mess. I don't know what they're gonna do. They're spent. Okay, listen to what they're spent. They have 6 guys on their roster making more than $10 million. The rest of everybody else, so 51 minus 6, whatever that. I can't do it. 45. So they have 45 players making under $10 million and 6 making over $12 million. It's ridiculous. Matt Ryan's cap hit is $26.9 million this year. And Julio Jones, 23. Grady Jarrett, 20.
Good
Dante
Lord.
Fowler, 18. I know. It's just ridiculous. So
A lot of income disparity there.
there sure is.
That usually causes a lot of discontent.
Yeah. And so I don't even know where to start. Their wide receiving core, they've got 4 guys up for free agency. 2 are exclusive rights free agents, so all they have to do is offer them league minimum and they bring them back. And then there's a restricted free agent, Brandon Powell. So, but it's like they have Julio Jones and then who else? And, well, they've got, don't they have Ted Ginn Jr. or Gage? It was Gage and Ridley. Yeah, so, you know, they're doing all right at wide receiver. I forgot about those guys. But at running back, they've got Todd Gurley. He's a free agent. And then Brian Hill is a free agent. So I don't know what they're going to do there. They haven't said whether they want to bring Todd Gurley back. His market value is like $5.5 million. And these are their number 1 and 2 guys. So, and, you know, that's kind of a position where maybe the new coach, Arthur Smith, who was the offensive coordinator with the Tennessee Titans, you know, he might target a guy. You wonder if he'll target a guy like Derrick Henry, like a big bruising back. But you kind of need an offensive line for that.
Kind of,
right?
yeah.
I mean, a little bit. They released their starting left guard, James Carpenter, and then their center, Alex Mack, is a free agent, but he's probably going to be too expensive for them to re-sign. So, I don't know what they're going to do. On their defense, they released safety Ricardo Allen, Keanu Neal, and DeMonte Kazi. They'll hit free agency. So they're basically going to have to rebuild this whole unit. Jalen Hawkins is the only one that's returning from last year. So their secondary is a mess. Apparently, their defensive coordinator, Dean Pease, runs a defense that requires another edge rusher besides Dante Fowler. So we just talked about how rare those are. Have fun with that, guys. You ain't getting Shaq Barrett. And so they have a lot of needs and not a whole lot of money. And then you've also got the fact that they're bringing in a new head coach who's going to want to sign his own guys. So I would say that the Falcons are in rebuild mode as well.
Nice. So our whole division has collapsed.
I like it. I know.
I'm very happy about that.
Very awesome.
Yes. Well, you think about last year, we lost to the Saints twice. And we ended up being, what was our final record at the end of the season?
11 and 5?
Yeah. So, you know, if they weren't good, you know, we got those 2 games, we would have been 13 and 3.
I know.
And if we would have had a preseason, we probably would have went 16-0. So
Absolutely.
that'll be this year.
I know. Somebody mentioned that on Twitter. I was like, ooh, I like that optimism.
There is a huge possibility we go undefeated all the way through the Super Bowl.
I know.
I don't know. You know, I am biased towards the Buccaneers, and I do see things through
You are
Buccaneers
conductor
colored glasses.
of the hype train.
Yes. But I've looked around the league, and I can't see anybody that's close to us. And I'm like, man, you know, give us an off season with some practice and, you know, just get these guys running on, you know, smooth, all cylinders. I don't see anybody can beat us.
I don't either. I know.
But, it's football. Anything can happen on any given Sunday. You got injuries. You got, just the weird stuff happens. Anything can happen. But, yeah. I don't know.
And who do we play? Oh, we played the AFC East and the NFC East.
Well, NFC East is going to be a cakewalk.
I know. I mean, we'll have the Bills and the Patriots.
Yeah, we get to play the Patriots. That'll be fun.
We'll be fun.
Brady's going to win that game.
I know.
He's going to rack up 60 points. And every time he's going to run over to the sideline and jab his finger at Belichick's face.
It's just, we learned this offseason how much he holds a grudge.
Yeah. And how competitive he is. So I think he's an OG gangster.
He's got it circled on his He's already coming up with. He's watching them in free agency, and he's watching the guys that they're signing to figure out how he can beat them.
Yeah. So we're playing our division, which is going to suck this year. Mm-hmm. We're playing the NFC East, which sucks. Mm-hmm. The AFC East, which sucks. What do they got? Buffalo. Yeah, Buffalo. We'll see how Buffalo plays.
Right. Well, and the thing is that Tom is very comfortable playing in any of those stadiums. So, I mean, not that he has a hard time or we have a hard time with road games anyway, but, he played there a lot. So that will be an advantage. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, man, again, like I said, there ain't anybody I'm even worried about.
I know.
It's going to be hard when this season comes out, when we do our predictions, to not just go 16-0.
I know.
Or just do 19-0 because we're going to go all the way through the playoffs and Super Bowl.
Yeah. And we're going to play the Bears and the Rams in the NFC. I know. Like.
The Rams, huh?
Yeah.
And they've got Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
That might be a little tough.
Didn't we hurt him last year? That was that 41-3 game or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that. Just beat the mess out of that team. Mm-hmm. All right, so is that it? You got it all covered?
That is it.
All right, good job, man. We are ready and prepared. Let's see, free agency starts 4 p.m. Wednesday.
Yes, tomorrow.
So these are all the guys we want to look out for. We want to see New Orleans, what they're going to do, wide receiver wise, probably the linebacker.
They have no money. I don't see them making any more moves except releasing people.
they're gonna try and build in the draft.
What are they doing? I mean, I don't know. I mean, they probably could sign some people, but it ain't
who can sign? Carolina.
Yeah, Carolina. Okay. They got
Carolina's
$30 million in cap space.
And we don't really need anybody. We might get James White, make up for Fournette.
Yeah.
Other than that, we're good. Oh, it's so nice to say that.
I know.
Man.
Not be stressed out about it. They were talking on the NFL Network how we already won free agency. It hasn't even started yet.
They're not lying.
I know.
Oh my goodness. All right, guys. Man, I'm so glad to be feeling a little bit better. Hope everybody is prepared for this. Football season's getting ready to start again. Good Lord, it seems like we haven't even had a break.
I know.
That's
it's awesome.
That's what happens when you win the Super Bowl.
I know.
You play it late in February, early in February. It's insane. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for us. Till next time.
Go Bucs.